Hello, we're going to do a very unique style of beer today. It's a German Rauchbier. Rauchen is to smoke, so it's smoked beer. The reason it's called smoked beer is because it's the malt that's used is smoked over beechwood fires. It gives it a nice smoky aroma and taste. I've had one of these before, but not this particular one. So this is supposed to be one of the best you can get. It's from a small town in Bavaria called Bamberg, which is pretty much the mainstay for Rauchbier. I mean, Bamberg is a small town. It's about 70,000 people, but there's 9 breweries. It's really like a brewing capital of Bavaria. You'll notice on the front when you get a bottle of this, it says Märzen. Märzen means, basically Märzen beer is March beer. März is March in German. Reason being that it's a type of lager beer. It's back in the olden days, sometime sort of because they wanted to avoid the hot climate of summer and things. They only brewed beer between the end of September and sort of almost the end of April, and they used to store it or lager it in caves. Obviously, the German word for store, I believe, is lager, or lager, and they used to store it in these caves. And the reason it's called Märzen beer or March beer is because they used to go to the nearest frozen pond, and they used to dig chunks of ice out of it and put it in the caves to keep the cave cool, and they can only do this up until about March, and then obviously the weather got warmer. So yeah, there's a bit of history for you. And this particular Rauchbier is called Aecht Schlenkerla Rauchbier, which means original Schlenkerla Smokebeer. Schlenkerla after the guy that took it over in the late 1800s. I don't know what his name was, but to schlenkerl is to walk with like a sway, and this guy had a bit. In fact, I think there's a picture of him actually just looking on the cap there with a walking stick, and they just named it after that, basically. Right, without further ado, let's crack this open. You want to serve this fairly cool, not chill, but just fairly cool. So it's not quite cold, you know. Imagine like a cave sort of temperature. As far as I can see, it's not bottle conditioned. It's bottom fermented beer, so I'm just going to pour a bit in to get a nose. Keep the head to a minimum. There. There's a slight off-white head. It's just a nice dark coloured beer. Fairly creamy looking head. Whew. That does smell smoked. You get a sweet malty. I mean, Märzen beers are quite malty. You do get a sweet malty beer coming through, beer smell coming through. But you definitely get smoked. That's intensely smoky. Have a whiff of that, Fiona.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I guess you'd have to sort of. I mean, this is. I can see this being a love it or hate it beer. You perhaps if you won't. You know, if you don't have some sort of sophistication of palate, I'm using that term again, then perhaps you'll think no.
Sorry.
But
Cheers.
Beer palate, you donkey.
Alright, okay.
Yeah, it just smells sweet and malty and very smoky. The smokiness just dominates. I'm having to be quick tonight because I haven't got very long. So I'm just going to pour this out. I'm going to get a taste and go from there. Oh, the head's coming up. So I'll leave it there for the time. I've got a drop left, but I'll pour that in a bit. There you go. Doesn't that look yummy and inviting? Right, cheers. Prost. That smokiness provides a really dry, long finish, dry all the way to the end. There's a bit of sweetness when you first put it at the end of your tongue, but that just goes smoky dryness. I would say fairly light-bodied medium. A light-bodied medium. A light-bodied beer. If you're not familiar with different beer styles and you go straight into this and you're not familiar with beer, you might think it's like drinking bacon because of that smokiness. But it just gives you, you do get a really, it's almost hoppy, like that. You know, like when you taste grapefruits and things from having hops, but that bitterness, that tanginess that it leaves in your mouth, you get a bit of that going. It's like a really old, funky sort of. It's quite strange, but it's just the smoke. Fairly moderate carbonation, soon disappears. Everything is just overwritten by the smoke, but it's really pleasant. It's quenching, it's refreshing, it makes it refreshing. Do you want to taste again?
No, thank you.
Go on.
No, thank you.
No, definitely not. Right, she doesn't want to taste. Her loss. This will go really well with smoked foods. In fact, I've read up that it does go well with smoked foods. But I haven't got a frankfurter hand or something. We could have put that to the test. Or some smoked.
Smoked salmon?
Some smoked salmon. Or like a German, like a Bavarian ham or something. You know, like a schinken. It's a very, very dry, long finish. In fact, I say finish, but it's more than just a finish. You only get a little bit of sweetness when you first put it in your mouth. Have a swizz it round. It's quite astringent now as well. Dries your mouth out of it. But then it's just that really dark, burnt. Not burnt in the sense of like a porter, although it's very similar. But a really burnt as in smoky, burnt taste. It's quite unique. It's really nice. Although it's a fairly light-bodied beer, I'd still take your time with it because it might feel heavier drinking it quickly. But unusual style, but very well worth checking out because the Germans are on par with the Belgians for beer. Seriously, some ways better. So yeah, Aecht Schlenkerla Rauchbier, one of many Rauchbiers available. If you can't find this one, just grab a Rauchbier and try it for the fun of it. Cheers.